So what we'll do today is that we'll work on the hands-on exercise. This is the paper. This paper is already being shared with you. The PDF is in the Google Drive. You can also click on the link. It's a open access paper. So you can use this paper, and then what you can do is that you can start working on using this paper. So if you go into this paper, you will see different things. For example, you will see one perinatal mortality table for with the forest plot. So today we can do another. We can do this. We can go for maybe this bleeding more than 1000 ml. So more than 1 liter of bleeding after delivery. So we can maybe replicate this today. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just stop sharing and if all of you are there, then I think we have around 7 people who have joined so far. So I think we can start, and then all those who join in later, they can watch the recording. So what we are trying to do is that we are basically trying to replicate this bleeding more than 1000 ml on RevMan. So what you guys need to do is that you need to go to your RevMan. If you go to your RevMan software, and then in that software, because you want to do a new analysis, so you'll go in File, in New. Within New, you will go into Wizard. You'll click Next. It will say what type of review do you have? Intervention review, diagnostic test accuracy, methodology review, overview of reviews, flexible review. So we are basically doing an intervention review in which there are multiple interventions as part of our review. Then they will say, okay, fine. So what is the title? So the intervention here in our case is caseload midwifery. And the health problem that we are trying to do is bleeding more than 1 liter after delivery. Then I click on next. So then the next question that Rayyan asks is this a protocol or a full review? This is a full review. Then I click on finish. As I do it, it opens up the review like we did this yesterday. Now, once we have this review opened up, the next thing we need to do is that we need to add studies into this. So we'll click here on studies and references. And in this is included studies. You'll click on included studies and add a study. And then it says, you know what, put in a study ID. So what we'll do is we'll just go to this table. You can also go to you can also go to the paper and you can find this table in the paper. I've basically taken it from the paper. And in this, I'm basically choosing this. So the first article is Fernandez 2020, and next is McLachlan 2012, and then Tracy 2013. Okay, so what I'll just do is I'll go to my RevMan, Fernandez 2020, next. So it says, what do you want to do? I want to go with published date only. Yes. Year 2020. Next. It says, what do you want to do of that? I want to add another study in the same section. Continue. So the first study was, in our case, it was Fernandez. Next was McLachlan 2020, 2012. And the last study was Tracy 2030. And then we finish. Now we have all of these three studies. You can see them being written in the included studies, right? Now what I'll do is I'll go into data and analysis. And in data analysis, I'll right click and it says add a comparison. I first went into studies and reference, right? And then I clicked here and then it showed included studies. I clicked here and added a study. Now I'm going in data and analysis. Within data analysis, I right click, add a comparison. So it says, okay, fine. So what is the comparison? And for me, the comparison is caseload, midwifery, and postpartum bleeding more than 1 liter. What do you want to do? I want to add outcome under the new comparison, continue. So I know that whether or not someone had the bleeding, someone did not had the bleeding, right? So our outcome variable is dichotomous. It could also be continuous if the end outcome was, say, maybe what was the percentage of bleeding, something like that. Or it could also be observed minus expected variance. Again, this is important when we are just trying to develop weights. Okay, so the next thing is, it says, you know what, give this outcome a name. So I'll just say bleeding more than 1 LTR. And the group number one experimental group, I will label it as what? I will label it as caseload midwifery. In group number two, I will label it as standard care. Click next. Then they ask the question, okay, what do you want to do? You want to go for a Peto method. So Peto method is applied when we're doing a fixed effect. Look, I clicked on Peto and random went out. But because we know in the paper that they have done a random effect model, you can see it here as well. It's a mental and Hensel's method and random effects. So I will just come here to RevMan and I'll click on mental and Hansel, and then I'll make the analysis model random. And this is done when there is a significant heterogeneity between 25 to percent to somewhere around 75% based on the I square value. And then in the paper, they have gone for risk ratios because the primary studies have shown risk ratios. I'll just click here, risk ratio, and then I'll click next. Normally, we take confidence interval as 95%, so we'll take that and we'll click next. And then it says, okay, fine. So what do you want to give the name? I'll give the name here as favors caseload, favors standard. And I'll put study size. I'll say, sort them by study size. Next. I don't want to do anything once I close this, so I'll finish. So it's here. So I have entered the studies. I have entered the data. Now what I'll do is I'll basically just carry out the um, analysis. So I will. So we have already added a comparison. Now we'll just add outcome. So in this, on caseload midwifery and postpartum bleeding, I'll just right click, gives me the option add outcome. I click here, add outcome. So I've just done that. So now what I will do is I will add different studies into this. So this plus sign I will add here. So these are three studies that we had taken. So I'll just click all of them and then click finish. You can see all these studies here. Now what I'll do is I'll enter data here into these studies. So if you look at the first one, for Fernandez, bleeding for caseload midwifery, out of 168, bleeding occurred in 2. For standard care, bleeding occurred out of 165 in 1. So 2 168 and 1 165. So I'll just put it here. 2 168 and then 1 165. Similarly, if you look at McLachlan, 53 people got bleeding in caseload midwifery out of 1156 and 65 out of 1158 in standard care. So 53, 1156, 65, 1158. So 53 out of 1156. And then next was 65, 1158. Yes, Shahid, please go ahead.
I'm Dr. Afshan. I just wanted to ask कि in this case हम data extract करें कि हमारे पास एक study है जो meta analysis हुआ हुआ है और उसमें हमारे पास results हैं जिसके अंदर से हम extract करें. So but जब हम real meta analysis करेंगे तो उसके लिए हमारे पास studies हैं. So individually हम हर study में से data पे देख देख के इसका enter करें.
Absolutely, absolutely. So on day one, we showed you the data extraction form, right? So when you're going through that data extraction form, you will be extracting data, but it's not necessary that you extract the data for the meta-analysis at that time. You will first carry out a systematic review, and then obviously based on the outcome that you have, you will extract data. और वो अगर intervention study है तो उसमें obviously अगर दो groups हैं, parallel दो groups हैं, one are the cases, others are the controls. So within cases, what is the outcome of the total? Within the controls, what is the outcome of the total? You will need this data from those primary studies, which you can easily develop on an Excel sheet. All you need to do is just look at the results of those studies. और ये data तो ऐसा है जो abstract में से मिल जाता है. So you don't even need to read the whole article for this. So okay, and so you will get this data from there. Okay, so the last study in this is 28, 871, 43, 877. So 28 and then 871 and then 43, 877. So 43 and then 877. As I do this, you can now see that even though it's showing odds ratio, we can change it to risk ratio, and then we can maybe look at this. So you can see 3 studies here. Okay, so I did something wrong with the data. Now it's fine. So basically, we have the data. So you can compare this with. Let me just open it here. You can compare it here. So basically getting the same result. So similar to this, everything is the same. You can look at the I-square values. So you can also look at the p-value coming from the Cochrane Q. So this is something that we did. We did the forest plot. We can also look at the funnel diagram here. Close this. Here's the funnel diagram. So we see that they're given the standard error. So standard error, it decreases as sample size increases. So the top level shows higher sample size studies. And we know that as standard error decreases, sample size increases. So by default, most of the studies come into the median. There is relatively uh, very little publication bias because there's only one study that is going uh, to the right. So I don't think publication. That's why one of the reasons why the researcher in this study did not report the publication bias was that they didn't have really good graphs coming out of study because of the less number of studies in the subgroup analysis. So this was one subgroup analysis. We did one similar subgroup analysis like this yesterday. So what I will do is I can show the same thing can be done on RevMan Web. So let me just go to RevMan Web. So this is my RevMan Web. What I can do is I can create a practice review here. And in this, I can basically add studies. So previously, these were the studies that were there, and then we went for analysis. Um, so what I can do is already the in studies that I need are here because we had added them yesterday. What I can just do is that I can go into analysis directly, and then I can add another analysis. In this analysis, I can say I'm looking at bleeding, postpartum, more than one LDR, and then go back to the analysis. I can see this. If I click here, add analysis in this, and I say manual, because I'm going to add the data myself. So this is a new analysis. So let's call it bleeding, postpartum. And I can see here that dichotomous, my end outcome is dichotomous. Either you had the bleeding or you did not. And the group one experimental is basically caseload. Group two is basically um, standard care. In that, I have taken Mental and Hansel method. Why? Because I'm going for a random effect model and I'm looking at risk ratios because these are what we got from the primary studies. We are looking at 95% confidence interval. So that's there. If I can now enter the data, what I will do is I'll click here, add row. So you can see that we have Fernandez in this one. We have McLachlan and we have Tracy, but there's additionally Homer, so we can just delete it, delete the data row. So we have just three, and then we can enter data into this. So let me just rapidly just enter data. 2 168 and 1 165. Similarly, McLachlan did something like 53 1156, 65 1158, 53 1156, 65 1158. And then for Tracy, we have 28 and then 28 871 and 43 877. 43 as it put the data into this, you can see the data coming here. I can look at the graphs. I can also label the graphs. So caseload. And I can see these graphs being built here. I can download these graphs as pictures and then put them in my article. You can see the heterogeneity, tau square, chi square value, and then you can see this p value, overall p value. So this is for the Cochrane Q, and I square percentage you can see here for heterogeneity. And then you can see this is similar to what we have here. This is the cumulative effect size, and these are individual study effect sizes. Um, so that's about it. So this is RevMan Web. We did the same thing on RevMan, and then we did the same thing on RevMan Web. Okay. So we have done the sort of like the practice session again. So I want you guys to go back and look up these videos, and then you can do the practice session again. What we can also do today is that if you have any question, you can raise that question, and then I can answer to the best of my knowledge. You guys have already access to the presentation, so you guys can see the presentations, go through them. If you have any question, you can ask questions again. No problem. You can post it in the WhatsApp group as well. Basically, we had kept day 4 for this hands-on, but we were able to do bit of hands-on. So I have not done all the subgroup analysis in the hands-on. I leave that to you guys. You can do it at home today. Do all of them, all 8 of them that are there, so that you would have some idea. We discussed yesterday in detail theory of meta-analysis. So what is ONE variance object, which is observed minus expected, what is inverse variance paying, what is mental Hensel method, we discussed what is Peto method, we discussed meta regression, subgroup analysis, sensitivity analysis, forest plot, funnel plot, and then fixed effect model, random effect model. We discussed chi-square distribution, we discussed effect sizes, we discussed tau square, I square, Cochrane Q. So those were some of the things that we covered yesterday in detail. You can look up on the video, and then that will also give you an idea. For if you have any question, then I can answer those questions. Please go ahead. We can maybe go through some. Okay, how do we use EndNote? Let me just show you how we can use EndNote for screening of articles. That's not for meta-analysis, that is for systematic reviews, but still you can do that. So let me just share the screen. Now say you are on Google Scholar, you're on PubMed, say you're PubMed. Okay. In this, you go in advanced search and you write infant mortality, and then you add it, and then you write, say, Pakistan, add with an you search, and these are the articles you get. Now, say you want to bring these articles to EndNote. So the first thing is that you open up your EndNote. So let me just open up. And when you open up your EndNote, you will get something like this. So you create a new library. So I'll just make a new my EndNote library on desktop. And you get this. Now, as I will keep it open, now what I'll do is I'll go back to the browser. These are the articles that I got 1,1300. Say I want to reduce it from 2010 to 2024. And I only want to focus on clinical trials. So I get 64 results. Now I want to bring these 64 results into my EndNote. So what I'll just do is I'll click on Send to Citation Manager. It says all the results on this page. I'll go for all the results in total and I'll create a file. And then that file will be saved on the desktop. I can, as I click on that file will open up in my Endnote, and this is mine. Now, say the first article, I click on it and I think this needs to be part of my systematic review. So what I will do is I will add this in a new group. So these are my groups. I will just create a group. I can name it infant mortality inclusion. And then I'll go on all references and say this is the article that I think is relevant for this. So I'll just add it in the add reference to infant mortality inclusion. Similarly, this is a article that I like, so I think should be part of my that. So I'll add this as well, and then I can go on and on and on. And maybe I think this article should be this. So I'll just click here, add article, add article to the infant mortality inclusion. So basically, these are the three articles. Then I can go through these articles in detail. I can download their PDF. It depends on what access I have. You can get a lot of access. So there is a website called as Sci Hub. SCI. You can get a lot of free articles from here. Sci Hub. You can enter your reference and you can get a lot of free articles here. Sci Hub. Let me just put it in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that's something about EndNote. You can use EndNote for identifying articles that you need for the full text. And so you can develop two EndNote files, one for each reviewer. And then on the files that, for example, this from the first reviewer, we can add another group. We can second reviewer, and we can basically import his articles, his three articles here in the second reviewer. And then we can also do a comparison together. So that's all about EndNote. Um, so we went through RevMan today again. We went through EndNote. Once we conclude the meeting, all of you can access the recording. You can see it. So let's see if we have something in the chat box. We have a message from Dr. Sadia. Unfortunately, I missed the session yesterday. No problem. You can look at the recording and then you can easily understand. I'll go through the recording, but could you kindly recommend a book reference to read about systematic reviews and meta-analysis? The best book to read up on systematic reviews and meta-analysis is the Cochrane Handbook. The Cochrane Handbook. You can read up the Cochrane Handbook, it will give you a very good insight. And then obviously you can go through Prisma guidelines and all that. Dr. Sana is saying if we can please revise Ryan. Fine, we can do that just now. So let me just open up Ryan. I'm just putting in my username password on Ryan so that all of you can see it. And then I'll just share the screen. Okay, so so all of you can see my screen. All of you can see that this is the interface of Ryan. This is the old interface. You can click to go to the new interface. I'll just keep it at that and say in Ryan, we start off Ryan, we create a new review. I click on new review and I give it like infant mortality 2. And the research field, medicine and health, review type, systematic review, domain type, biomedical, and then I create it. So now I have a new review. In that review, I need to first import references. So you can import from Mendeley or you can import from a file. So I'll just import the file that we just went through just now. So which is PubMed infant mortality set one. So I'll just open that file. As I open this file in Ryan, I can then continue. So now it shows all the articles. So there are around 64 articles in this. So first, let me look at the left side. The left side are the filters. So how many are undecided, how many are maybe, how many are included, excluded. Okay. And then total uploaded references, how many are there, what are the keywords. So say I only want to focus on trials. So out of these, uh, 57 are trials, and then rest are also comparatively trials. So I don't think this filtering here will help me a lot. Um, but what I can do is like there are two cross-sectional studies, so I can just delete those cross-sectional studies. So of the total articles, I click on the first article and then I need to decide whether or not I want to make it part of my review or not. So I can maybe add include. This second one I don't want to include, so exclude, include. This is maybe include. And then I can go on and just, obviously you need to go more into detail. You click on the article and then you read up on the article. You can see it below here. There's the full article abstract, so you can use that. Now, as I'm doing it, I'm screening through this. I can also ask it to detect for duplicates. So it's right now detecting for duplicates. 0 duplicates were found. Also, so once I go through this, I can also see something else. What can I see? If I click here on my name and I click on my account, so there is a issue with this. One second. Lately, Ryan, the unpaid free version of Ryan has been a bit of a problematic thing. So you can, as I see here, like I said, that I select articles maybe or included or excluded. Now I want to see how many articles I have completed, how many are left. So I just click on all reviews. So this shows all my reviews, right? Within this is the article infant mortality 2. If I click here, look what it shows me. This was created 3 minutes ago. Of the total article, 64, these many, 7 are included, 7 are excluded, one is maybe, and then undecided are 53. So it also tells me how many articles are left. If say I want to add a researcher with me, I want to have 2 researchers. I can put in their name as, say, reviewer, and then I can put in their email, and then I can give them reason, and then I can invite. I can do that. So they can do it themselves. Now, how many of mine are collaborative reviews? Because I haven't really added any collaborators, so therefore there are zero ones. Otherwise, you can see it here. How many of them are here. Now, if I click here on this review, like I said, you can screen your articles, and also the left side filters really help you a lot. You can screen based on the years, based on the author, based on the journal, based on the publication type. So I only want to focus on journal articles. That's what I want to do. Most of the articles in Pakistan have been done in Karachi, as you can see here. Most common terms are human, female, infant, newborn, infant, all that. Now, say I complete this article, and then I want to export this article, export the results. So it says, how do you want to export this result? So do you want to include the abstracts? Do you want to include the decisions, include the labels? So I can go with all of these, and then I can export them in the form of an Endnote file, a web text file, a RevMan file, a CSV file. So I'll just click here on CSV file and I'll export. As you do it, you will receive an email on whatever is the email that you assigned for. So I get hit here, I click here so I can download it. Problem is that my EndNote is compatible with the version and then I extract the files. These are the articles. You can see the CSV file. As you can see, it created the CSV file. Let me just wrap text it. So all these are here, all the files that were. So it shows me what? It shows me the key, the title, the year. So basically, all the abstract is here. All the things that I might need from this article are here. I can easily develop my review tables from this. Ryan does this, makes life very easy. I can also make them part of um, the annexure of my article. So yeah, you can do that. Obviously, you can't see a lot of it right now because of the formatting, so but generally these are all the things that are covered. So what is the languages, who is the publisher, what is the location. You can create a map out of the location as well. Um, this is something about Rayyan. Rayyan is basically a tool that is helping you in screening your articles and then exporting the final results. You can also compute ratings. So that's about it. That's what you can do on Rayyan. On RevMan, you can do the quantitative meta-analysis on Rayyan. Rayyan helps you with the qualitative part. There is a new version of Rayyan. If you click here, you can switch to the new version. The new version is easier comparatively. So this is the same review. And if I go down, you can see it shows how much of this is complete. This is a better version. That was the legacy view. This is that. You can go into screening and you click here. If say maybe I include this article. So I can do the whole review like this. I can click here, I can add, invite members, I can add people here, give them a role, all that. So this is the total data, 64 articles. What is the possible duplicates? It shows it. So if I click detect duplicates, there aren't any duplicates. AI assistant, it is coming. So I joined the waitlist. I've clicked on it. You guys can also do it. Um, so that's about it. This is for Ryan. So stop sharing. So you guys understand that we went through Endnote, we went through Ryan, we went through RevMan and all that. Whatever that you're doing in RevMan, you can do in Stata as well, in SPSS as well, and also in Python and R as well. You can do it. And then simultaneously, apart from Ryan, there are other tools of management of systematic reviews as well. You can use Excel sheet for this as well, and you can do this in Node as well. So that's about it. I hope this workshop will help you guys in doing your own meta-analysis. Now, all those of you who want to be part of our meta-analysis team and who want to work on paid meta-analysis for Nazish Masood Research Center, you can basically just write down in the WhatsApp group, and then Dr. Zishan will then guide you further. So in the WhatsApp group, you can just post that I'm interested in being part of the research team at NMRC, and I'm interested in being part of the paid meta-analysis. So for doing the meta-analysis, you'll get a stipend as well of around 200 real. At the same time, you'll get published in that um, meta-analysis as well. So for a first timer, I think this can be a very good option. So this will also help you learn. This will also help you to become part of the team, the research team, and this will also help you get published. You'll be working under supervision of Dr. Zishan for that. So that's about it. I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed the workshop. The 4 days were good. And like I said from the very beginning, the main purpose of us doing this workshop was to enhance the capacity of the people who are involved in doing research in Pakistan. So this is a step in that direction. We will have other workshops as well on secondary data analysis. We'll do workshops on survival analysis and multiple other things, inshallah, in months to come. So with that, uh, if there is any comment, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can then conclude the workshop. I hope you guys enjoyed. You guys will be in touch with us through the WhatsApp group, so that's not going away. You can contact me on the WhatsApp group. So that's it. Yes, so please, thank you, Dr. Kinza. Any one of you who is planning to work with us, please post it in the group and then we can start working together. Thank you, Dr. Sadia. Thank you, Dr. Kinza. Thank you, everyone, for it. So I will just conclude the meeting now and then we'll share the recording of today as well. So you guys can go through this as well. Um, thank you, Noreen. Thank you. Take care. Become part of the research team at NMRC. Get published and also make some money in the process. Take care. Allah Hafiz.